I wish I could say that I had some cool story about how I discovered David Bowie as an artist, but I can't. I wasn't drunk or high or in some grand state of exploration. I was just a 6-year-old, and I was trying to escape my own chaotic little world through the genre of fantasy, and I did that through Jim Henson's 1986 cult classic, The Labyrinth, which starred David Bowie as Jareth the Goblin King. And the more I watched the film, the more I began to pay attention to the music that my mother was listening to, which had plenty of Bowie in it. And the older I got, the more I loved the music, because I began to understand more and more of what was being talked about in the music. And all this was kind of vamped up in 2013, when David Bowie released his first new album in a decade, which was called The Next Day. And then, in October of 2015, Bowie announced that he was going to be releasing another new album, which was going to be called Black Star, the title track to which was released on November 20th. I had to rewatch it 3 or 4 times before I actually was able to take in everything that was packed into this 10-minute music video, because it pushed aside every typical thing you would expect of Bowie as far as the actual physical music goes. But in the music video, he took on one aspect that we are so used to seeing on Bowie that the whole thing glided perfectly. And that was a defined character. We see it in Ziggy Stardust, we see it in Aladdin Sane, we see it in The Thin White Duke. They are defined characters with a defined style. And even though people kind of accept that at surface value, they never delve any deeper into why these characters are these characters, even though in some cases it's pretty obvious why those characters exist. One of the easiest ones is the Thin White Duke. It's the physical manifestation of his cocaine abuse. Now, even though that's common knowledge, people don't talk about it because it's a negative. It's a negative connotation. You don't talk about a cocaine addiction like it's something good. The thing is that you also can't deny it. You can't look at a picture from the 70s of Bowie and go, oh wow, he looks healthy. No, you look at him and go, he's a skeleton. He looks sick. And everybody knows this, but no one wants to talk about it. Bowie has reached a stage in his art where he is considered almost a god, and you don't speak on poor terms about a rock and roll god. You just don't. And the thing about Bowie is that he's so tendent towards using masks and using characters when he creates music that there has to be more to it than just, this is Ziggy, and this is Aladdin, and this is the Duke, and these are the songs you connect to them, and that is that, and you don't go any further. There has to be more to it. An artist doesn't write music completely devoid of emotion. And with everything that Bowie has gone through between a crippling cocaine addiction, his brother being committed to an insane asylum, and then committing suicide, you can't write music, good music at least, and not have those things affect you when you write. So you can't take these characters at a face value, even though that's what everyone does. And the more I listen to his music, the more things I read, the more research I do, the more I want to look at that. And after watching the Black Star album tracked, and after listening to it and looking through every Tumblr blog and fan site that I could find, I was inspired because no one was talking about it, and I wanted to. So I wrote a poem, and here it is, The Man of Masks. When I was 6 years old, I spent my days playing with my toys and arguing that NSYNC could never beat the Backstreet Boys. And I thought I knew all I needed to know about the world of rock and roll, which in truth was nothing at all, but that all changed one day in early fall. Like a Valkyrie, he carried me, unknown and frighteningly beautiful, and yet he was quite suitable. Draped in outfits so flamboyant and bright, he led me on a journey of a girl's fight. The Goblin King was his guise as he flew me above the ground, so apropos a blonde wig with blue tips and makeup by the pound. This day I'll remember through the ages, when I first learned of rock and roll stages. The man of many faces, the one and only David Bowie. Entranced for years by those strange eyes, I oft wondered what behind them lies. And as I grew older, I began to understand that life was not as clear as a crystal in your hand. The man of masks, there is nothing else to ask. We know him only by what he chooses to show. Ziggy, Aladdin, the Duke, we all know. But we cannot even comprehend who lives under those masks so deep within. A man from outer space, a lad insane, a duke coated in deadly white powder. And it forces me to contemplate what brought him to this line of fate. A question rises in my mind and hits oh so slowly. Who the hell is David Bowie? Is it not just his first mask that has so far stayed intact? Where did David Jones go? Did he disappear in the costumes and the blow? Can we in good conscience claim that a rock and roll god is insane, despite the fact that it's part of his claim to fame? Yet in our world we dare not peruse the facts of an artist's life that Rolling Stone may find crude. But you cannot challenge sheer reality, and it is a true calamity that a man must hide his own insanity. And yet, perhaps things have changed. Almost 3 years ago, we all saw something strange. Taking us all in shock and awe, no one expected it, not at all. A new album and something strange, a Heroes cover with a redacted out, clean white stage. Prompting us all to wonder and think, what could this mean? After a decade of silence, words of loss, of war, and the past, all of us wondering if it would truly be the last. As I listen to this album, so raw in its tastes, I wonder, have we reached a time and a place where Bowie begins to pull the mask off his face? But in the weeks that have since passed, a new song with ties to the past. Major Tom, could it be? And is that Sarah in the Goblin City I see? A blind prophet, an eclipse of a star, an unknown god, another mask for Bowie to wear. A video so absolutely insane, more questions made than answers gained. For now, these questions remain unanswered, just fodder for the fan site banter. But in less than 2 months' time, there will be new songs to analyze the music and lines. For now, the Man of Masks is nowhere near done yet, and I don't think we can know the truth until he chooses to end the set.